If you don't have a 3-act structure for your script or for your novel, there's a good chance that what you're going to end up with is either a really flat and boring story, or you're going to have a story that just feels like a mess. So I'm going to give you a basic rundown of what a 3-act structure looks like. In the first act of a 3-act structure, it's really about us establishing what is the world that you began in, your character, and how is that world itself flawed? How does the problem insert itself into that world and force the protagonist to go on the journey to solve the problem? The second act is divided into 2 parts. The first part is really about the protagonist learning how to solve the problem. That could be assembling a team, it could be going through training, it could be both. Then at the midpoint is when they begin to really face the problem and either have their first initial success that gives them confidence, or their first setback. And then the second half of Act 2 is about increasing pushback from the opponent, from the antagonist, and they continue to try to solve the new problem in an old way and are ultimately defeated. And that's the end of Act 2 ends typically with a reversal and a turning point. And if at the midpoint they had a success, the reversal will tend to be a negative reversal. If at the midpoint they had a setback, the reversal at the end of Act 2 will tend to be a false accomplishment that will turn out to be false afterwards. And then they will have to transform themselves to align with the theme you're exploring. And then the third act is about the climax, the final confrontation with the big bad. Whether that's the big bad is like in the sense of say a thriller where there's an enemy, or whether it's a romance novel and there's a rival, or there's some fundamental problem that needs to be dealt with in order to get the girl or get the boy. And then there is the summary as they are successful or they're defeated. And there's some kind of wrap up that brings it all together and we see the final results. So that's the basics of the 3-act structure told in 2 minutes. Anyway, give it a like, comments and questions down below. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.